Hey everybody, Thursday afternoon, time for the shop update here at Woodsmith. Got some fun stuff going on. We're gonna go around the room here and check in on everybody. We'll start with Mark Hopkins and his turning project.
Turning project, yes. That's exactly what it is. Alright, yep. On to the next one. I know Dylan probably checked in with everyone last week regarding the game table because I wasn't here. So this week got started on the Chris Fitch designed checkered canister. So this is where I'm at right now with this. So that's what we currently have. Now to get to this part, this involved individual staves, which were like this. If you can come over here, you can see exactly how I did this. But first of all, I started off with a whole bunch of little squares that I ended up gluing together. Now, the reason why I did it in individual squares for the glue up is because we decided to do the long grain. Now, you can do it like I've done for the lid over here, but you need because it doesn't matter for the lid because we're going to go cross grain. If you wanted to do this in like one big step like this for these pieces, you're going to need a pretty wide board so the grains go in the opposite direction to what this is. So I didn't have any wide boards, so I went with just doing the individual pieces, just gluing them together. Quite a painstaking process, but that was the finished result. So after that was done, put a bevel on both sides and then put a groove down the middle. Just put that on the table saw, put the groove in there, and then they attach together with just a spline like so. Keeps them all in situ. So once I've got all my 12 pieces all around, use the band clamp to glue them up. I used epoxy on this, so I've got a bit more working time. So that's where I'm at with this. So the next step is to put it in the lathe. Now, I know when I talked to Chris about doing this, we were contemplating doing a router table style jig to be able to turn them on in case we didn't want to use a lathe. But that would require making a jig, and that's probably would take longer than the actual project itself. So what we came up with, well, me and Steve came up with with these two. So what this is going to do, we've got two plugs. I'm going to just tape in on either end like that, and that keeps everything sturdy. Then this is going to get put in the chopped up in the lathe. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use any cutting tools on a lathe. I think I'm going to use some rasps and some sanding blocks because there's not really that much to knock down to get that cylindrical shape. So that will be going in the lathe this afternoon. So hopefully that will work. Otherwise, I'll be going back to plan B and starting all over again, which I don't want to do because it took quite a lot of time doing that. So once that's done, I'm going to work on the lid part, which was this piece here. I've got to chop these up into sections and then glue them the opposite direction to create the checkered pattern. And then I'm going to work on, actually I've got to put a recess in here, a rabbet inside of here, and on the bottom for the bottom of the canister and for where the lid to sit into. And if you can see there, this lid's got a bit of a crazy shape to it anyway, so I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do that as well. So that's where I'm at with this next project.
Cool.
Awesome.
Hey everybody. My new project is the Modular bookshelf by Dylan. And you can kind of tell by these drawings, we've got these uprights are going to house 3 boxes, which are plywood. And the sides are going to be 1 inch thick. Now here's the walnut already done. And right now I'm working on making about 30 panels for these 3 boxes, which include the divider. And we're using half inch red oak plywood. So I'm buttoning them together like this and using the Titan DX, which is a water-based contact cement. I simply pour a puddle on here and then start rubbing this on. It looks real milky. And in about a half hour it dries clear, and then I can fold them up like so, put them in my vise to press the edges, and I'll have 30 of those. So, and then I can start doing the joinery and putting the boxes together. So tune in next Thursday. Maybe I'll have something more to show you.
Cool.
Alright, so I've got a little bit of a kind of side experimentation project going on. I've wanted to design a doghouse for quite some time that didn't require using any hardware, and so the way this is put together is basically just a series of lap joints, and as more pieces are added, it creates a rigid structure, and so it's kind of self-standing. It can all be knocked down and flat packed. So outside of that, I guess the objective of not using any hardware is to create 3 different sizes of this, and so once I kind of get a design that I like, I'd like to scale it for at least 3 different sizes, and then once that's done, I want to start thinking about materials. Right now I'm just using 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood just because we use it for a lot of shop projects. It's really easy to machine, and structurally it's really strong. But if I wanted to do this for like an outdoor application, you start thinking about more like marine grade or exterior grade materials, and even exploring maybe some new like recycled sheet goods. I know there's some companies out there creating these panels that are comprised of shredded plastic. If you think about like craft beer that you get in like the 4-packs, not the old translucent or semi-translucent rings, but the hard plastic tops. There's an abundance of those, and they're using those in this process where they basically, again, shred them up into smaller pieces, sort them by color, and then they press this. It almost looks like essentially a giant panini press, but the heat that's exchanged in that process gives it enough binding, or helps it bind together. There is really no secondary resin added. And so again, once I get to the point of a design that I like, I want to start thinking about materials like that that might hold up better outside and are a recyclable product. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just working out some sizing, some fit, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of, again, design changes. But I want to, at least if I'm buying sheet goods, maximize a sheet of plywood so there's a minimal amount of waste involved. And at some point, hopefully, maybe either donate or maybe attempt to sell these. But again, just kind of a side kind of passion project thing that I wanted to do for a while, and kind of keeps the creative juices flowing, as they say. But outside of that, Steve mentioned the modular bookshelf. I'm also working on a tool tote right now. I need to create some patterns for. Logan will be writing that article, and then I'm going to be working on a croquet set too, which I'm really excited about. I haven't played croquet in a long time, but I failed to realize how many different factors there are into not only the size of the mallets themselves, but also the weight distribution on the head. So that will be really fun, messing around with different materials and trying to get them the exact weight, because there is very small, I feel like, margin for an appropriate weighted head, and so there'll be a little bit of experimenting involved with that. But that'll be the next Woodsmith project I'll be working on. So this time next week, we'll probably have some drawings for that and take a look at it. Other than that, that's all I have for this week.
All right, there you go. Thanks for tuning in for the shop update. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, or smart remarks. You can put those in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Bye.